Command the code, scale with precision. AI playbook built for decision. Process tight, we move with vision. 3 minds lead in the next edition. Command the code, optimize moves. From the data to the brand we improve. Unlock growth, set strategy bold. Prompt commander, let the future unfold. AI lock in, we don't guess work. Every prompt clean, every step got purpose. Streamline tasks, automate flows, turn your ops to a beast, watch efficiency grow. John breaks walls with the code first brain. Rewriting limits, real-time game. Allan, everyday scope made smooth. He maps the mission while the system grooves. Tim got tools for the team to win. Plug it in once, watch success begin. Corporate sharp, enterprise smart. We don't chase trends, we build from the start. 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 We build from the start.
Welcome to the Prompt Commander AI podcast, where AI meets reality and we take out the trash. Today, we're going to dive into the wild west of AI platforms, products, and promises with new tools popping up every day. How do you know what's legit and what's just polished garbage? Whether you're building with ChatGPT or dabbling in Midjourney or getting pitched another AI-powered slide deck generator like Gamma, this episode is your no-nonsense guide to cutting through the hype. Welcome, Allan, to the podcast. How you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great. How are you, Tim?
I am so excited to be here today and to talk about this topic. It's come up a few times, and I'm going to credit you to the term hot garbage in the world of the AI revolution out there. We seem to turn some heads whenever we bring that up, because I think people really feel that way about AI out there. They just don't know. It's moving so fast. They don't know what to think, especially in the world of businesses. I talked to multiple businesses just this week that are just feeling overwhelmed with, what do I pick? How do I build this around my business? I was at a networking event this week and I brought up the topic to a group of small businesses. You know, corporations, they have the money to throw at this. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. They're working hard out there, but they have the resources to develop these things around, and, you know, the time, the energy, they just got the people. A small business doesn't have that right off the bat, and they need help. And you and I have gone in and helped a few businesses. So I just want to start out with the topic of, what are some red flags that just scream hot garbage all over the place when you're evaluating an AI tool or a platform out there?
Yeah, so for me, some of it is truly if they way overpromise, right? If it can do everything from send your emails to cure asthma, right? Like that's kind of the big problem, is a lot of these guys want to sound so great instead of focusing in their lane, right? It's kind of like saying, can I change my oil? Yes. But I know I'm a keyboard princess. And so I go take it somewhere to have it done, because otherwise my wife gets mad. There's oil everywhere on the driveway, things like that. And so you can apply that same thing um, to software, right? Yes, they're supposed to make themselves look good. It's a pretty page, things like that. But a few things, misspellings are going to be a big issue. And yeah, just way over promising on what they can do.
Yeah. You know, I see that in a lot of just the social media ads that I see, and I check them out of curiosity out there of what they're doing, because I love, especially the ones that seem a little bit more gimmicky. That's kind of a red flag to me. Not that they could be things that don't work, but, you know, you need to be careful with that and make sure that it's a legit, I guess, verifying the claims really that they are promising out there. And, that's why we come in as a great resource for businesses as well, as we have those partnerships already out there where we can come in and tell them what works and what doesn't work. And also, those people that are coming up with these platforms, have they tested it out? Have they vetted it out with people like us that, know what we're looking for and can kind of break down poke holes in there in whatever they're offering out there. So, how do you verify the claims made on, as you go out and you look at people's landing pages for some of these platforms, these products? What are some of the things you're specifically looking for? And we use some good platforms that I think can be brought up as examples of utilizing the good resources out there.
Yeah. Really, it's seeing what people are saying. What if you want raw, honest truth? Go to Reddit and put in that product name, and people unabashedly will either tell you it's good or it is hot garbage. Right? They use cuss words instead of hot garbage, but uh, it's that
Hey,
thing,
let
right?
the expletives fly when it comes to AI because, it's frustrating when you don't have something that claims what it can do.
Right.
It
And
comes down to dollars, right?
yeah, well, and I always look at it this way, like it won't most likely it won't be exactly as pictured. And I use the McDonald's example, right? You look at the Big Mac, it's stacked up, fluffy, the lettuce is crisp, the cheese is just, that side is right there, all of that. And then when you get it, it's smushed and small and it's like a filter for Instagram, right? And so you got to expect a little bit of that, right? That they're going to do that, promote themselves a little bit, make themselves look really nice. But then also looking at how responsive their customer support is, right? Can you message them and then they get back to you? How long did that take? How good was the response? Right? Those are some of the things that you can really look into and say, okay, yes, these are some of the elements that will do that. But my number one tip that I use every day that I'm looking at stuff is Reddit. And then, we spend a lot of money on just buying into these services so we can talk about them. And sometimes, we're working out a deal with a couple that want to give us access so that we can then in turn review it for them. That's kind of the big thing. And then when you book a demo through them, whomever it might be, make sure it's not just them showing you the beautiful, A footage, right? Make sure that you can ask some of these questions that will be how do try to break it in the demo, right? Just say we use it like this or can it do that? And that will how they respond to that will also show how good the product is, not just the stuff they've got queued up for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of wild to me with all the things that are out there and yeah, go to those right tools like Reddit or whatever to validate some of these things because we don't want you to waste that money. And I mean, we had one client of ours recently that went out and purchased stuff that already had resources, right, to
Mhm.
what could be done for her. But, so I think in this world today, especially with how rapidly it's moving, with what, is offered out there to really have that AI consultant. And I think moving business consultancy has got to shift. And I think you and I are way ahead of that game of shifting that because just your regular come in and know how to write an SOP or, be able to help you, come up with really good job descriptions for, jobs that you may have open or whatever it is in a business. This is now shifting all to how do I utilize AI to do this? And I'm not saying bad things about other business consultants out there. I'm just saying this is going to shift with every other industry out there.
Well, it's like we've talked about a lot, right? Make it AI infused. That's our goal for what we do, right? Our websites are AI infused. Our business consulting is AI infused. Heck, our boost system that we talk about is AI infused. And so it's the fact that you may not need to have it run everything for you, right? And having that personal experience as a business consultant is fantastic. Now infuse it with AI and you're going to go faster. You're going to be able to do more things at a better price for you and your client if you choose to pass on those savings, right? It'll free up your time. It'll process. Remember, we always say, let it process for you, not think for you. And so, if you already have that experience, send a command and it's like having an unpaid, intern right there that'll put it all together for you. Once you've taught it all the things that you need to, right? And then you review and correct, and the more you do that, the better those outcomes will be.
This portion of Prompt Commander AI is brought to you by Gamma, the weapon of choice for creators who are done wasting time with clunky slide builders and outdated doc tools. Gamma turns your ideas into sleek, interactive content with just a prompt. Presentations, pages, decks, done. Test it out now at promptcommander.ai/gamma and see what happens when AI meets actual design power. Stop dragging. Start commanding.
Yeah. And so that brings me kind of to another area that I've been trying to think about a lot because I field these questions a lot, but it's in the world of LLMs. And you're seeing some other ones. We have the normal ones, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Grok out there. You're seeing some other ones pop up. And I've been trying to test things like that. Man is one. But, in your mind, what separates a reliable LLM from the other ones? Because people want to know which one to pick. But, kind of it's that overwhelming thing of going to the grocery store, right? Of, wow, I have 5 different packages of hot dog buns I can pick from. Which one should I pick? Which one's the garbage out there?
So, you can talk to different people and get so many different answers to the same 5 options, right? And so, first of all, using something like food is perfect because it's what fits your taste. And so there's some that you're going to like how they do it, how it responds, and others that you'll just absolutely hate, right? Secondly, depending on how often you're using it in your business, will be the cost associated with that will be something that you'll have to consider. Thirdly, is how you're using it in your business. Do you need long responses? Do you need short responses? Do you need it to be pretty straightforward? Do you need it to pull and give you a beautiful dashboard and pull from the ugly or undesigned LLM frameworks? Because there are a lot of those, right? A lot of them are using, ChatGPT as their background, but then they put it in a beautiful dashboard for you, and that might be worth it for you.
I think that's kind of where people are going is just what is going to be worth it for me. And you may have to test out a couple different things. And it's nice that a lot of them are still offering kind of that free kind of entry level, um, part of their platform out there for you to go out and test it out a little bit and see if it is going to work for you. But you're right. Everybody kind of has their different opinions out there. Everybody kind of has their top 3, top 5 kind of LLMs that they're utilizing out there. And as you get more advanced, you're going to see, oh, maybe I need an element in this. I tell people they all kind of have a different personality kind of thing to them. You look at the people who've created them and you kind of see that personality in there. I use Grok and ChatGPT, right? Elon Musk and Sam Altman are completely different personalities. I mean, you can see them go head to head. And I think those platforms go head to head as well, but there's different things in them that do better than maybe some of the other ones are going to be. And I think you're going to see this continuation of one platform kind of or one LLM leading out a little bit and then another one kind of taking its place. We're going to see all this back and forth. How can
Well,
we
I
navigate that hype a little bit more?
I think that there's a false dichotomy that one is going to be the king and that's it, right? Because like I said, it's how you use it and how you like the responses. And so it is not truly one or the other. One might be more used and have, be the number one on a fiscal kind of scale, but truly it's how are you using it, right? X or Twitter is super popular. I hate it. I don't like how it presents information. It feels like a lot of people just yelling into an open vacant room, but a lot of people use it and love it, right? So even though it might be one of the top 3, to me it's under the top 10 type things that I use, right? Now Grok it comes from X. I love Grok, right? And so it's kind of looking at that, right? Twitter isn't necessarily better than Facebook or better than Instagram. It's how you're going to use it. If you have a visual based business, Instagram is killer, TikTok is killer, Facebook is good as well, right? But there's just that usage, right? So it's not one or the other. And when we go present, people often ask, "Oh, well, what AI are you using?" And I say it's probably easier to pick what I'm not using right now. But, for example, one of the tools that we use, and we're giving away some of the secret sauce, right? Is Gamma, right? You mentioned that in the intro. And so what does Gamma do? It really brings like your thought process and your ideas to life. And so if you want to do a presentation, like a PowerPoint type thing, if you want to do a document, so if you want to do a booklet of some sort, a proposal, right? You can put it in there. And you don't want to just say, make me a proposal for this or give me a presentation on, Amelia Earhart. Um, because you want to give it some real data. It works better when you give it real data. But you can put it in there, it'll make it pretty, it'll generate AI images for you, which if you have your own images, you can change. If you don't like how they came out, you can go through and reprompt them. And this is a pretty solid choice. I mean, you can build a little website on it, as we know. And it's not going to be your strongest website, but if you just need a little
Yeah.
something, you
If you
know,
need just a quick landing page, you're just trying to get your business up and running. I mean, I used it. I'm running for my local city council right now. I needed a quick website and wanted to jump out ahead of my competition before any of them released their, some of them have a little bit more elaborate websites, right? But I get a lot more compliments on my website, and I just developed it on Gamma. I went in and replaced the images with images of me and put my campaign stuff. I was even able to upload a video and put on that site that people can view on that site. And it's just a good example of what you can do there with Gamma. But man, I like the fact I can be talking to someone and I'm tracking the notes. Even if you're taking like notes on a note taking platform, right? You can upload those in and give a nice summary to the person you're just talking to within minutes. And, that that's very valuable to someone that I already
so
have that presentation,
when you made your site, you're not our techie guy on that side on the team,
right?
right? Like you're very techie in the AI part. You're not techie in the building websites and things like
Sure.
that. So did you just put in make me a site that for my campaign, or did it take several tries? Was it lots of lines of information? Run us through some of that process.
I had already experimented just because of, things that we've done, but there was that trial and error kinda upfront. But the prompting, and we can't stress that enough, it's in the prompting and the information you provide it. So I had already been building, and if it's like a business, I think if you're already building what your business is about and you're putting that in. So one tool I use in ChatGPT is the project so that I can keep everything organized for that particular subject matter. So I was able to say, hey, give me a summary of everything I've told you about my campaign and what my platform is, what my visions are for my city, coming from an angle of that I'm a two-term city council member. And, I also wanted to attract, not that I just have experience, but that I still have a vision for where the city is headed. And so it just generated that long summary for me. And I was able to go in and put that summary into Gamma and have it come up. I think and it just came up with a beautiful summary. I picked the template. That's the nice process in there. You can pick the tone. You can go into Gamma. You can pick your favorite color tones of what, you want things to look like. And then there is that play for a little bit of, oh, I've sent you some, just kind of presentations where the text maybe, didn't show up as well, right? So
Yep.
getting that feedback from it, has really given me the experience. I think it's no different than logging on to ChatGPT or anything else for the first time. There's that learning curve there to do it. And that's why I think it's still important to go get educated with people that know what they're talking about in those areas. But man, Gamma has been a life changer in there. That's one of those platforms that people need to know about, and we've never hidden that of what we're using because we want you to be able to utilize this within your business or, groups or anywhere that you're involved out there.
Yeah, and speaking of free trial, we have the opportunity to give you guys a free trial of Gamma. So if you go to promptcommander.ai/gamma, GAMMA. So once again, promptcommander.ai/gamma. Go mess around. Tell us what you think. Ask us for advice. We'd be happy to hop on a quick, 15-minute call with you and let's run through it and give you a little tutorial on it. So go check it out and let us know, what you think. Another one that's coming out that we um, are testing right now, we're getting into it is Learn Worlds. And so what they do is that they help you create courses and you can use AI to speed that up. And so that's where we really look at stuff like, oh my gosh, like here is it's taking your knowledge and it is really expanding it to be able to help you look at how you can move forward. So somebody like me, sometimes I struggle to pull the knowledge out and organize it. With something like this, you come in and talk to it and it helps remold everything for you. Is it going to be perfect? I doubt that, right? Tim and I are just diving into this, but it's something that's out there. And sometimes you have to take the leap and risk. I mean, this one starts at $30, so it's not going to break the bank, right? And so if you want to get into this world and say, "Hey, I've got these course ideas. I don't really know how to build courses. This might be a great place for you." Right? And so it's moving into being able to look at all of these things and just giving it a shot, right? Give it a shot and see what it is that you can do with it.
This segment of Prompt Commander AI is brought to you by LearnWorlds, because your genius deserves more than a cookie cutter course platform. Tired of boring, broken learning tools? LearnWorlds gives you full control to build, brand, and actually engage your audience without being boxed in like on other course platforms. Level up your course. Blow past basic. Head to promptcommander.ai/learnworlds and see why smart creators are making the switch. Create smarter, teach louder, own your platform.
This is going to be a lot of, you know, experimentation, a lot of willingness to dive in there because there still is that complexity out there. I was just on a call with one of my former bosses in another world, but of my HP days out there. But you know, he even brought up, "Wow, the prompt is everything. How you're prompting it, because if you don't clarify something as clearly as you think you're going to get those hallucinations, or you're not going to get everything that you necessarily want out of it. And that's the refinement process. I don't think that it's necessarily a bad process to go through because you're going to be learning how to prompt out there. And that's why we talk, don't just take the first draft of whatever you take out there. I think those are the people are going to get called out, or, oh, you're just using this to do whatever out there. But those that are willing to dive in and refine this and use these tools out there, it's going to be huge. And this is the partnerships we have. We want you to be able to utilize these tools. So just on Learn Worlds, you can go to promptcommander.ai /learn as well. And we'll put these in the podcast description as well, so you can have these out there. But I think it highlights the partnerships that we're building out there so that people don't have to just go through all that hot garbage out there and, throw away money. Come and learn. And if there's products out there that you see that you want to learn more about, shoot us that link. We'll dive into it. We'll tell you what we think about it. We can even have you on our podcast to, share that information with you. We'd love to help any business out there, anybody who's just navigating this and help really dive in and teach them. So test these links out that we've shared and get out there and start exploring in AI. We're already seeing massive shifts in this world of in employment and everything else that we need to pay attention to. And everything's pointing to that it's AI that's disrupting the world as we know it. So we do need to, get out there and explore things and learn things. And we'll share our lists. We'll publish our lists out there for you to use. Allan, as we wrap things up here, what do you think in your mind? And I know this is looking into a crystal ball with this, and all of our crystal balls are very cloudy. You and I and John are just trying to stay 5 minutes ahead of everyone and collect that knowledge out there. But where do you think the next big wave of AI value is going to come? Whether it's LLMs, is it agents, is it something else out there? What should people be keeping their eyes on right now?
Honestly, it's gonna be a mix of all of that, and it's really just prompt commanding, right? Like it's not to sound too cheesy, and that's our name, right? But truly prompt commanding. How do you guide these models and whatever you're using to move forward? And it also depends on what you're using it for. You may not need agents, right? You may not use that. That may not be how you use your business. Um, so really just start looking at what's out there and deciding which ones fit best for you, but really just start using something. Start with something basic and just go talk to it. Put in questions, put in, more details about you. Be safe, right? I always say don't put anything you wouldn't want public in there. Um, so but get in there and really have it help you understand how it can best serve you, because that's another thing, right? You can say, "Hey, teach me what you can do for my business. Ask me the questions that you need," or not even business, personal life, right? We were talking to somebody, I can't remember who we were talking to, and they just said, "I can pull up a recipe for whatever in 2 seconds, and then adjust it for what the family wants," and things like that. So it's not just business sense. It can be very simple. The other is, hey, I shop at Smith's or Kroger's or Walmart or the local grocery store, and my budget is $500 this week, and here's what we love, here's what we hate. Can you help me make a menu and a shopping list and make sure that there's enough overlap so that it's budget friendly, right? And or we don't do dyes, or we have these allergies and blah blah blah. Put it together. Now you don't have to spend hours figuring this out. It'll lay it out for you, right? So truly, I think sometimes we get caught up in this starriness of what's out there, and we're not using even the basics.
Right. So here's a question I get a lot, and I'm asking this just from my personal side of things as well. People hear a lot about custom GPTs out there, custom things that they're doing for themselves. When should people be looking into that of what they need specifically in a business?
If you keep doing the same type of task or same type of thing that you want to prompt out to. So let's say you're doing proposals a lot, and you get sick of, oh, where's the price on this, and what do we do here, what's the and so you're kind of making it up on the fly, right? This happens to contractors a lot. And so one of the things that you can do, or we can do for folks, is train a specific GPT to do that. And then you just punch in your information for that particular project, and it'll spit out what we've trained it to do. Right. And so that's kind of nice. So sometimes making proposal, we have a proposal, we have lots of, as you know, custom GPTs that we can use. But for us, it's proposals. Throw in the info, it spits it back out. It's oh, we have a knowledge base. So our people keep asking a lot of the same questions. Well, make a GPT that they can go in and ask it the question, hey, what do we do in this circumstance? Well, if you've got SOPs and other things inside of that, it'll come out. So anything that there's a lot of repetitive to that that is a process, you can come in there and create one of those, right? And speaking of that, we're doing our AI membership. We haven't come up with a cute name for it yet, but that's one of the things we're going to
We're
include, right?
close.
Is it'll have access to some of these GPTs, and if we have enough folks in a certain area that want to do it, we'll just build it into the membership part as well, right? So if you have questions about that, let us know. That we're still. I'm without asking Tim. I'm letting it out a little bit here.
Hey, you know what? We both do that, and that's what's awesome.
Yep. So that's coming down the pipeline, right? Is a way for us to connect and have these deeper conversations where you can interact with us directly, and be able to ask some of those specific questions for you.
It's exciting to see. And that we're not stopping there. The podcast was like the first step, getting things momentum. It has been phenomenal to see how this podcast is growing. So we encourage people to share this podcast out. We're on all the platforms. You can go see us on YouTube, listen to it on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, or Apple Podcasts. I can't believe I said iTunes. I don't do we still use
That's your old man coming out.
that.
How
And
many countries are we
I'll
in?
bring up the old man thing. If you
Yeah.
are, I would say 35 and older, that's the crowd that needs to be really listening to this, because we're the ones that need to utilize this the most out there. So keep an eye at promptcommander.ai, as well as a lot of our excitement just starts getting rolling. Just this last week, we've had a crazy week of just changes and shifts that were just exciting, that we weren't expecting, that are just going to allow us to advance things even more. All right,
Yeah.
folks. So here's the takeaway from today. In the world of AI, not everything that glitters is for sure gold. So some of it's just, like we've said, is well marketed trash. You can market anything out there and make it look just beautiful. But the key is you need to ask better questions. You need to test smarter. Don't just chase trends. You need to build systems. So at Prompt Commander AI, we don't just follow the noise. We can help you cut through that. We've got the partnerships out there that are going to allow that to you. Use these links. We'll put them out there from Gamma and Learn Worlds to allow you to go out and start that testing out there. So if today's episode helped you dodge a bullet or discover a tool worth trying, we definitely want you to hit subscribe to our podcast. We want you to share that, like I said. Share it with someone who may be stuck and needs a little more help out there. You can also check out our classes that are at tickets.promptcommander.ai. Until next time, everyone, stay human and let AI do the boring stuff.
See you guys.
Command the code, scale with precision. AI playbook built for decision. Process tight, we move with vision. 3 minds lead in the next edition. Command the code, optimize moves. From the data to the brand we improve. Unlock growth, set strategy bold. Prompt commander, let the future unfold. AI lock in, we don't guesswork. Every prompt clean, every step got purpose. Streamline tasks, automate flows, turn your ops to a beast, watch efficiency grow. John breaks walls with the code first brain, rewriting limits, real-time game. Allan, everyday scope made smooth. He maps the mission while the system grooves. Tim got tools for the team to win. Plug it in once, watch success begin. Corporate sharp, enterprise smart. We don't chase trends, we built from the start. 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 We built from the start.